Hi friends, thanks for stopping in. I'm Naomi from Fluffy Boots Crochet Creations. I hope you are having a wonderful day or night depending on when you watch this. My apologies first off that this is so late. I've had a lot going on in my personal life and things just took a priority, plus I've been sick, so that's always fun. But here we are, and we are doing National Crochet Month Challenge. And because I am so far behind, I am doing day 12 through 15. So, there you go. I know it's a lot, but I'm going to do my best to keep it under 2 hours. No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing 2 hours. Honestly, I don't think I could talk for that long without having to take like an hour break. Continuous talking is just not my thing anymore. I mean, as a kid, I swear I did a lot, but I actually was a pretty shy kid. Kind of became a shy person in general. I'm a watcher. I'm a watcher, not a talker. Meaning that I'm more likely to listen to someone than to be the force behind the conversation. But if you get me going, you may regret it. I'm not that bad. No, sometimes I'm that bad. I'll be honest. There's times, still not at, several hours talking, but I can go. If I got something I want to talk about, I can go. I, okay, here's a little funny secret about me that, I don't know if anyone else does this. I eventually share it with most people because I find it to be a very funny little fact about me. I like to watch documentaries and things and pause it at a point, especially if it's something that I know the history of and it's an older one. I will pause it and then I will sit there and argue with the video. I don't know. It's just, there's sometimes you're watching things and, like I said, especially if it's something older, and any more older it can be like even a couple years, things we get information that changes things, and it's just like, oh, no, 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 Cece, you got that wrong. And I will sit there and go, okay, now look, this is what it actually happens, and this is what it said, and so you didn't do that right, so you need to stop. Like they give a flying hoot nanny what I have to say. But, that's why you pause it. So they can't talk back. Okay, so I probably shouldn't have shared that, but I'm going to share it anyways. Alright, if you can excuse me for 1 second. So sorry about that. So, since we are doing so many days today, I'm going to divide them. I'll put over here what we're going to talk about, even though I'll say it at the same time, but it's just sometimes a little easier for me to go, okay, this is where this goes, and so forth. And you actually missed it. I don't know if she'll do it again. Kind of hoping she doesn't. My youngest cat, I only have two. Always say the youngest cat, and then I'm always like, they're going to think this is a mad cat person. No, I'm really not. We only have two cats. So she decided to, as I'm in the middle of recording, jump up on my table and then kind of just plant herself walking through here, and got mad at me because she couldn't walk all the way through because I had stuff here. It's like, well, I'm so sorry. You're the one that wants to be on camera. Not happening. Out you go. And then she got on the floor and yelled at me. What are you gonna do? All right, so we are going to be talking about favorite yarn, something color, which I won't say yet, crocheters I love, and blanket. Boy, oh boy, do we know about blankets. So let us dive first into favorite yarns, which is really hard. You know, I know I have been crocheting a couple years, so I do have some preferences, but I also absolutely love discovering new yarns, and sometimes something that I thought was my absolute favorite gets replaced by something else because I keep discovering new yarns, which is why I love watching people like Crystal from Bagel Day, Juan the Yarn Addict, Creative Grandma, who else? Thriss and Stitches, Dee's Creative Hands. There's many others. Those are the only ones I can think of right off the bat who do yarn unboxings. And because they're people I follow, people I trust for their opinion, I don't know them personally, so, but for their opinion, I trust. And so when they're talking about a yarn and they're getting excited and they're talking about the feel of it, um, comparing it to something else they've made, especially ones like Crystal and Juan who have been crocheting for a very long time, I definitely will stop and listen and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to go check them out and see if I like that yarn. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, I agree with them. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this yarn is fantastic. I love this yarn so much. So, Juan and Crystal, you guys are so bad on my wallet. No, I'm totally kidding because you know that they don't like to tell you you have to buy this or else. But I do appreciate their opinion very, very much. So, to start with, we are going to be talking about my favorite yarn. Again, hard to decide on just one. Then it's really hard to decide on between the big box stores or the small independent dyers or the medium sized independent dyers. You know, there's actually quite a few in there. So it kind of gets to where you're like, I'm not sure. But I have narrowed it down, and I hope you will like what you see, and I hope that you will agree. I'm also going to, when I show one of the yarns, or no, I guess it'll be two of the yarns that I'm going to show you. I will show you a picture of up here of it because the others I have an item made out of it. Okay, enough of the wiggle waggle around there. So, one of my absolute favorite yarns that I discovered, and I discovered it because I'm a love amigurumi making. I'm sure you never knew that about me. Well, if you're new here, you may not know that, but I do. I love making amigurumi. I'm still really pretty new at it. I keep, every time I make it, I keep trying to challenge myself, and I break down my amigurumi patterns from one as easy or beginner, two is intermediate to advanced beginner, three is advanced or experienced. I'm not comfortable at three yet, at all. I keep saying I'm going to push myself to it, and then I'm like, oh no, I think I'm going to go back over here to two because I'm confident in two. But I have, as an amigurumi creator, there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration when you're making an amigurumi. And yes, I'm hitting the yarn over here in my hand. So I'm going to put the yarn down for a second. So one of the things as an amigurumi creator you have to think of is, am I making something such as a person or a turtle? And I say that because that's what I'm going to show you. Are you making something like a teddy bear or a little monster? You know, just a couple of examples. Meaning that, do you have something that has a lot of details on it that is needing those details to show? Or they have smooth skin, excuse me, feel like I'm starting to slur there a little, so I do apologize if I am starting to slur. It just kind of sounds like it to me, but I'm not 100% sure. So my apologies if I am. Or are you making something that, like a teddy bear, has fuzz? That really does depend on the kind of yarn you're going to use. Um, Now there is a lot of people who use the Chanel for making things like I think they're called Naughty Buddies. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had to check on my dad for a moment. All right, so as I was saying, if you're making amigurumi, it does matter on the type of yarn that you use. And since I want to talk about a certain type first, because I do make a lot of amigurumi as well as other things, I want to talk about, here it is, Premier's Cotton Fair. Now, this yarn, outstanding. It is so gorgeous. Let me see if you can get in there. Do you see what I see? There is barely a fuzz in sight. This is also 52% cotton, 48% acrylic. It's a fine too. It is recommending 3.5 millimeters for a needle. And when I say a needle, I do mean knitting needles. I just say needle because most people know hook is for crochet, needles is for knitting. But I just say a single needle. I, I don't know why, because you need two. And a 4.5 for your crochet. Now, this is a machine washable, but you have to dry it flat. It is 317 yards, 290 meters, 3.5 ounces, and 100 grams. And this is a fine two, which I have to say, that's a nice two. So, as we were saying, the difference between using this type of yarn or the Stitch Please, this is a wool and has a lot of fuzz. So this sort of thing is perfect for something that either you don't mind the fuzz on it, because it's like a teddy bear or something, something fuzzy, or it's something that doesn't have a lot of dimension details to it, that it's okay if it's a little fuzzy. So you wouldn't use this necessarily if you were making, say, trying to think of like, I wouldn't use this for a small Frankenstein. I'm sorry, I have Frankenstein on the mind because, yeah, I don't collect Frankenstein or anything. um, where you have a lot of details, but for a bigger one, you could use it, which is what this is going to actually be for, a bigger Frankenstein head from Cottontail and Whiskers patterns. Again, love their patterns. If you haven't seen any of the other videos where I talk about Cottontail, you will know I do love Cottontail. She is one of my favorite designers. And she doesn't just do amigurumi, she does make wearables as well. I have so many of her patterns and so many of my ones. I have a feeling at one time I am probably going to own every single one of her patterns. All right. So, like I said, love this for amigurumi because I'm going to show you this. This little guy, this is the turtle I was just indicating. If you can see, it's not one that gets played with, but it was handled a lot, and she does get handled a lot by me because I use her for other examples. But if you look closely, try not to get it so close, it's got beautiful stitch definition. You can really see the stitches well there, but there's no fuzz. I mean, you have the little tiny fuzz, halo, whatever you want to call it. I call it a fuzz because, well, that's what it is. It's a fuzz. But there's not enough here for it to really show to the point that I'd say, oh, no, I don't want to use that for a wearable, or I don't want to use that for a dishcloth or an amigurumi. But the cotton fair, honestly, it's gorgeous. I love using this, and it gives me absolutely stunning amigurumis. And I can't show you, the bottom is not the same. The bottom and the shell are another yarn. These are actually from a Hobby Lobby yarn that they discontinued, which I'm very sad about, but that is for another time. But I love the definition you can get out of this. And I have a lot of cotton fair. A lot. Probably way more than I need, but I love it. So I'm going to put this up for a moment. So be right back. Sorry, that took just a little longer than I had meant. All right, so when we talk about independent, medium sized independent to the smaller independent dyers of yarn, I have three. Now I know it said one, or it just said favorite yarn. I have way too many that I really love, so I did try to pick out the top ones that just wow me. And I have new yarns come in that I haven't got to work with yet, so I love the way they feel. I can already tell what kind of dimensions most of them are going to give me, and I'm excited to use them. I just haven't. So for when it comes to my absolute love of the bigger ones, it's hard for me, honestly, to say I love this brand over another. But the top two is Malabrego. I said that wrong, didn't I? I think so. Sorry if I did. I will put the correct name down there. I do have trouble sometimes with names. And the other one is Yarn Snob. And I just realized, oh, I got it on the wrong side. Now, Yarn Snob is a independent medium-sized dyer out of Florida. And his yarn comes from, it's milled in Italy, but I think it comes, I want to say, from Israel, but please don't quote me on that because I may have that part wrong. It's been a while since I looked at his story. But this is a power brawl, so it's a big amount of yarn, and some people are like, why do you have so much? Because I love his yarn, so I buy it. So it just became a part of me. This is superwash merino. It's a worsted weight Powerball, approximately 500 grams and 109 yards. It takes a 6 to 8 needle. So again, it's probably going to be, I'd probably use a 4 to 5 with my crochet hook, but I have to play with it to decide for sure. And this color is called Zombie Picnic. Pretty hemp. It's got a lot of gorgeous colors in it. This is actually, I'm hoping for making a cardigan out of this one, but I'm not 100% sure. I might change my mind when I'm working with it, um, and not one with closed stitches, more of an open stitch is what I'm thinking. I have the Zombie Picnic in fingering weight as well, but his yarn is just, it's gorgeous. It is so wonderful to work with. It feels absolutely, I'm trying to find a good, okay. that's too close. All right, well, I can't get you to see it, but it's a very tight, twisted yarn. Um, if you have seen the new Premier yarn, the ombre, their twist on their yarn is very, very similar to this, which I'm really excited to work with. I have some, well, I have a Premier yarn unboxing video to show you later. It will hopefully be released by this weekend, but this is one of my favorite people. So I'm going to wrap this back up and be right back with you. All right, so that is my yarn snob. This is Malabrigo. This is, I believe, let me double check here. It's worsted also, but it's different because it's a little bit, I don't want to say a softer twist, but a different kind of twist. It is approximately 200 yards, 210 yards, excuse me, 192 meters, 100 grams. They are saying that it takes a US needle of 7 to 9 or 4.5 to 5.5 crochet hook, and it is 100% merino wool. And it is called the Rios, and the color is Hojace. Let me put the little tag back in here. Okay, so this is their worsted. Here again is the, now I'm going to get it. All right, there. Wanted to get it relaxed again. Okay, so if you look, two different sizes, which I have found to be like a straight across thing. It does not matter who you buy from. Worsted is always different. Some are closer to a 3, some worsted is closer to a 4. It's it just depends on the manufacturer. These are similar enough that maybe I would use them together, but honestly, probably not. Only because they're two different, and this is the only reason, honestly, they are two different types of twist. So once I start working with it, I don't want to have one coming apart quicker than the other, making more piles quicker, especially if I'm making a garment. But these are two of my favorite independent yarn creators of the medium brand, medium size, however you want to put it. But my absolute favorite independent dyer, now there's plenty out there who I love who are independent dyers. I have many come in, excuse me, um, from all over the world who are independent dyers. I support independent dyers. Um, they they need the extra, I don't want to really say help, but they need that little bit extra. The big boxes, they pretty much can stand on their own. Independence, you can't compare the two. There's just no way to compare what a big box store or big box yarn company, let's say, won't stay store, big box yarn company and an independent. They're so different because each has something very specific they offer. You know, big yarn companies are going to be able to mass produce, give you the same sort of um, color over and over and over again, repeatedly. You can just buy, I think it's Lion Brand that says they don't use dye lots because they have the same coloring constantly, I believe, but don't quote me on that because I probably have them mixed up with another store or another creator. But this lady does fantastic work, and I rave about her all the time. And if you've never been here before, well, you're in for a treat. And this person is Crow and Crescent Yarn Company. Now, this is looking way pinker than it, or brighter. It's a little bit deeper, but it is a neon. And I know it's like, why? This is because I have a very special project coming up, and I'm buying the yarn as she has it come out. She doesn't have all the neons out yet. I have to wait till fall for some of them. That's okay. I can wait. This isn't something that's, like has to be done tomorrow. It's not like that at all. This again is a superwash. It's a DK called Triton DK. The colorway is Prism. It is 100% superwash merino. I just said that, didn't I? Sorry. It's 100 grams and 231 yards. Now, this is not going to let me get it. All right. That is a decent DK. It's closer to a 4, but it's a nice DK. Again, this one is a bit of a looser twist than what I have from Yarn Dye, or Yarn Snob, excuse me. But that's okay because it looks fabulous. So that is the end of this one, part 1. And this video is already getting a little long, so I may divide it down into 2 days at a time so that it's not like, because I feel like I'm very chatty. Anyways, let me move on to the second part, and I will be right back. All right, for part 2, we'll be able to go a little faster because I am not going to read each and every one of the labels for you. I'm just going to show you. So part 2 is going to be something green. Why? Because green happens to be my favorite color. It's true. It's funny though. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but I have found, now I don't do it as much on, say, an online store, but in the person stores, I will go into a store and maybe I've decided I want green. Green is the color I want. Green is the color I will buy. And then you will find a color that you were not expecting catch your eye. I've had that happen with, I had it happen one time with a pink, which kind of floored me because I was like, what? You're saying that I like pink all of a sudden? Nuh-uh, no way. But it was true. I had fallen in love with this pink color. The other colors I've been drawn to are oranges. Um, I love a red, beautiful blood red. Um, I am going to show you at one point a beautiful blood red uh, crochet top I made. Just not today. All right, so enough about that. So, as a green lover, I found I don't have nearly as much green as I thought I did. I was able to pretty much find most of my green. I have a couple of greens here and there that I didn't pull out, but I actually, and here she comes again. I knew she was going to do that. Winnie, Winnie. No, you need to get down. You don't need to be in every video. This is the second video now. No. Come here. Oh, I know. Life is hard for you. Sorry. That is her second video today she has gotten into. Greens for all all come, how do I want to say this? Greens come in every shade, and I love every shade. And of course, one of the colors that I love the most is actually a color that looks horrendous on me, and that would be the olives. See, I cannot carry off an olive. I could try, but I can't do it. So this is my olive. I think that's all my olives. So like this one, look at that. Oh my gosh, it washes me out completely. This one not as bad, but this one, yeah, no way. So those are those. Another softer green is this green I have. We have the one you saw earlier, my Stitch Please green, which is this one is um, frond of you know, like a palm frond. Yeah, okay, never mind. This green, these greens, do not show up as true as they are. They are actually not this kind of teal green you got here. They are definitely all more closer to shamrock green, Kelly green. We'll go with those. So those are these. These were a wonderful little surprise I got in a box of yarn that I will talk about in another video, because I'm trying not to keep going on just this one. We have this green. This is, you know, a pretty little green. We have, let's put up these two. These are more of my lime greens. This is definitely a limer green than this. This is more citrusy green, but I digress. Then we have these greens. Again, this one's darker than one it's showing up. This one's pretty darn close to the color. And now I'm knocking everything down. One couple lighter greens you can see. I don't know where the label is for this. I'm not 100% sure who made this one. It's pretty though. So, and there she comes. No, I don't want you up here right now. Sorry. All right, my last two greens I'm going to show you. I have more greens around, but I just don't want to dig for greens right now. This is a Big Twist Christmas green and my Super Saver Ombre green. All right, so we're going to end the video on that note, because that was a really I am very chatty today. I want to thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. If you liked it, I hope you will consider subscribing. No, Winnie, don't tell Mama no. Boy, she is determined to be in videos today. If you did like what you have to see, I hope you do consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, as well as giving me a thumbs up and a comment, because those really do help me out. So again, I'm Naomi from Fluffy Boots Crochet Creations, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now, friends.